The battle for the historic rail bridge continues, and this time it's being brought to the North Dakota Supreme Court. KX News' Mary Gutenkoff visited the Bismarck Veterans Memorial Library to learn more on what the Friends of the Rail Bridge are doing to try and save it.
Because the Missouri riverbed is considered sovereign land, BNSF must obtain a permit in order to construct or demolish the railroad bridge.
Any historically significant structure located on state land, which the bridge is located on state land, must have the permission of the State Historic Board before it can be altered or destroyed, and that had not been given.
According to FORB, permission had been given by the Department of Water Resources, but not by the State Historic Board.
We participated in 2 public meetings, gave hundreds of comments, and essentially those public comments were ignored. And then when we appealed to district court, our appeal was dismissed not on the merits of our comments, but on a technicality of who we should have appealed to, which actually wasn't a correct dismissal.
And so, FORB is appealing for a stay. They appeared over Zoom in front of the North Dakota Supreme Court for a hearing.
We have an initial appeal in of the district court's decision, but we've asked for something somewhat extraordinary. We've asked that the court take original jurisdiction and that they rule on it as if we were first going there. And by that, we're asking for, one, they rule on ownership, they rule on 5502, but they would have the authority to issue a stay to prevent any more potential damage be done. And we claim that both the permits should not have been issued, so it's appropriate to issue a stay. And this is very rare where they do original jurisdiction. We still have the appeal in, but there's 2 separate files.
Original jurisdiction deals with the court's power to hear and decide a case before any appellate review. The big question with the rail bridge has always been, is this a state issue or a federal one? FORB says this is a state issue and should be decided by the state, especially when it comes to this stay. According to Delmore, the railroad is digging immense pits that could endanger the current bridge, and if granted, the stay would stop this. FORB says the case is now bringing up the question of what say the public has in their sovereign lands.
The public, who loves this bridge, demonstrably, like it's everywhere, right? We should have a say in what happens in our home. We should have a say in what happens to our historic structures. Bismarck-Mandan wouldn't exist if this bridge hadn't been constructed. That's true. These cities sprung up because of the railroad. And the tie to that past, the idea that that structure can and should still stand, we deserve to have a say in that process.
FORB proposes that, rather than destroy the historic structure, the railroad should construct a new one at least 92 feet away from the original one. Reporting for KX News, I'm Mary Gutenkoff.
Officials say it's difficult to anticipate what the court will decide, but they're expecting an answer within the next month.